Okay, here we are. First episode of MST podcast. So we've got the lovely McSweeney as usual. So we've got a new person. Well, to be honest, you go by so many bloody names, I lose count nowadays. You've got Timmy, Tommy, Tom, Timothy, Tomothy. Which one is it, mate? You tell us right now.
Well, you got, mate. How many names have you given me, and how many names do then people go by that name?
Can't, mate. As far as I've known you, you've been Timothy. So you know, but I know you say that's not your name, but so you got to educate me, mate.
Yeah, Tom. You know, it's
Tom.
always been Tom. You
I will try
most.
my best to call you Tom for the duration of the podcast. Okay.
It's going to be a
He's got more
Timothy drop
nicknames
here
than
and
Chris
there.
Jericho, isn't he? This guy.
Yeah.
All right. So this episode is going to obviously be based on travel, as I mentioned. So yeah, travel in terms of countries, traveling in general, basically countries we visited. You know, good experiences, bad experiences, and you know, some places we might like to visit. We'll go down that sort of line of questioning, basically. So firstly, I want to ask both of you. I'll start off with you, Tom. What would be, of all the places you visited in your life, the best, and yeah, a few reasons why?
Oh, I've been to quite a few nice places in general, because just the life of luxury. There's so much about. Um, a lot of other places just because it's so minimal and there's not a lot going on. White glove service. I'd say the best place I've ever been to, Vegas. Went there with the missus back in 2018. She had been there before with a few friends, and she was kind of bigging it up quite a bit about us going there. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll see what it's like. Went over there, mate. The whole city is 24/7. I mean, gambling constantly, drinking constantly. All the hotels are connected by like an underground tunnel system.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's just nuts. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's probably one of my best places I've ever been to, and I would love to go back there as well.
Is it more or less a piss up as well as you know, throwing away a ton of money, but you're having fun at the same time?
Oh, 100%. I mean, one of the bars that we went to in one of the hotels, it was basically all you can drink for $20. This is back in
Oh, bloody
2018,
hell.
so like no
Yeah.
COVID, no nothing. So like, cool, why not? Just went and did it. So I was doing like Coke and Jim Beam, and I was asking for like a double each and every time, and the guy would pull me like a quadruple. So before you knew it, you were literally getting your $20 worth in no
Yeah.
time. And a lot of it was like a pre-drink as well. So we were in like the hotel, just getting absolutely steaming drunk before you even left. So it's brilliant. Absolutely loved it. But you need a decent wallet
Yeah.
prior to you going out there, mate. It's just absolutely nuts, dude.
At least a couple of grand, isn't it, really, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably talking. We played it safe. I won't lie, and we did probably about $500 a night, and that was playing it
Fuck
safe, and
me.
that was just on like the gambling. That was just on like the roulette and poker and blackjack. That was it. If you were properly going hard, you could probably do like a grand or 2 grand each and every night. So you need to save up a lot of money, dude.
Yeah, that's just crazy amounts of money to be throwing away. But bottom line is, again, it's all about having fun, ain't it? So as long as you had fun, that's
100%.
what that matters.
Yeah,
What about you,
100%.
McSweeney?
Favourite place?
Yeah.
I'll probably say Croatia, actually. I think Croatia, I've been there 3 times.
Which
First went
city?
there so,
Sorry, mate. Which city would you say, or is it?
City, yes. City, I'll probably say Split. Yeah, Split. I know Hvar was really good as well, because when we went to Hvar, you basically can get the boat out. So you can hire a boat, like a smallish boat. I was with Jack, and I was with my mates John and Alan as well. So yeah, we got the boat out, and then you basically go over to like, other parts of the islands. Yeah, I think like Split in terms of actually the main vibes. It's not like a massive party place, but it is. It's got enough about it to sort of satisfy your, like, if you've got like a nightlife urge whilst you're there to go out and stuff. You've got a couple of beaches. The beaches are slightly pebbly, but they're still pretty nice. Yeah, so I'll probably say a joint one, Split and Hvar.
Yeah,
Way
obviously I've been to Zadar in Croatia, and it was more of a family holiday. But yeah, I can see where some of the examples you mentioned with Croatia and why it's good. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I mentioned to you guys already. I did love my experience in Croatia, but I wouldn't go back there purely because of the fucking mosquitoes. They were a fucking pain in the ass, mate. They were really bad. So for that reason alone, I probably wouldn't go back to Croatia.
yeah,
Me personally, in terms of where I've visited best. It is a tough question to answer. Obviously, each place has its own pros and cons. I think I'd probably say, in terms of memorable holiday, my first trip I went abroad with my missus was Antalya in Turkey. Again, it was a really nice slap up 5-star hotel. We got it quite cheap, and then obviously things went on from there as well with me and her. And literally a couple of years later down the line, we went same hotel again, but this time obviously my daughter had come along by then, so we went back again, and it was another lovely holiday. Food was amazing inside the hotel. Everything was just perfect. There was no real issues. So for one of those reasons alone, I'd have to put that right up there. Now, in terms of, I don't think I also went a couple of times back to Bangladesh a few times when I was a lot younger as well, and that had its positives purely because of the freedom. We were like looked at like royalty. Where we go there, like the village where my mum's from, it's like very rural. It's like no, vehicles or nothing. It was all like rickshaws and shit. So,
Sure.
so it was nice, and I got to put a special mention for Barcelona because that was my first holiday I went to, like non-family holiday, like just me, and a friend, and so that was definitely right up there. I was buzzing, like I could barely sleep because I was just running off adrenaline. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's a tough choice to point out one specifically, but I'd say those three are up there. If I had to really pick one, I'd probably say Turkey and Antalya, just because again,
yeah.
there was nothing that went wrong with that trip, and obviously, like I said, it was the first trip with my missus, so I'll probably say Turkey.
Yeah, I've never been to Turkey. Tom, have you been to Turkey?
I've been to Istanbul, but that was very briefly. That was like for like a day or two. That was like part of a cruise that I was doing with the family way back when. But I've never, mate. Turkey for me is too manic and too busy, dude. You can't swing a cat in that city. I
Yeah,
swear to
I'd
God.
say Istanbul, possibly yes. Obviously, bear in mind when I went to Antalya, it was a beach resort, so it was literally just we didn't really venture outside. We went to a shopping mall like 5-10 minute walk away, but I can
Mm.
definitely see myself if I went to like a proper city like Istanbul, then yeah, I can. I can see what you say in terms of obviously being the hustle and bustle is more aggressive,
You
but
can't breathe. It's
yeah,
nuts.
but I do want to go to Istanbul one day just to check out. To be honest, man, it's the food. You know me, I love my fucking food, so I'd love to go there purely
Mm.
for the food alone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely one day if I can. So let's move on to the worst. I'll go to you first, McSweeney. What would be the worst place? And it doesn't, you might have more than one, but yeah, just give me the gist of it. Some of the bad places you've been to and why.
I mean that that is a very, very good question because I'm actually trying. I'm struggling to think of a place I've been to that I really didn't like. It's probably going to be somewhere that's a bit less spectacular. Um,
Doesn't
I
have
mean,
to be somewhere you hated, but just you didn't, it didn't live up to expectations. If that's a better way to put it.
yeah. And the funny thing is, I've got my list here. I've got 25 countries I've been to,
Yeah,
and I'm just kind of like I'm scratching and clawing, trying to find a place that I kind of think that what was like overhyped or what was like it didn't live up
yeah,
to expectations. I but Berlin I actually quite liked. I when I stayed to Berlin, but I didn't think it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be.
yeah.
And I think probably because we went for it, went on a stag, we did go karting, that sort of stuff. I think there's probably better cities in Germany, and I think that's probably why I'm being a bit harsh on Berlin.
Mm,
I've been to Munich in passing. Again, I haven't been in that long, but obviously Oktoberfest, you've got a lot of stuff going on there. You've got the Christmas markets, which I've told are really good, like Nuremberg. I think possibly Berlin, if I had to really say.
yeah,
Um, I mean, Venice I absolutely loved, but I thought the food was bang average for
mm,
Italy. Went to Rome, it was absolutely sublime in terms of like I think my first
Mm.
meal I had there was lasagna, and it was like absolutely blowing my socks off.
Mm.
But I'd say that, yeah. I mean, I'm struggling here, but I think, yeah, if you had to say like cities that were sort of lower down the list, I'd probably say Berlin. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I've been to Berlin. If you can comment on that, if you can agree with me or disagree with me.
I have. I'll ask Tom in a second, but yeah, I have been to Berlin, and it's funny. It's not one. It's not even one that I would even remember because it was just so, it wasn't
Yeah,
memorable in any way. But
unremarkable.
I went Barcelona, and then I went Berlin as my second trip again, in a non-family holiday. And I don't know, it was nice being away, but at the same time, the hotel was nice, but it was a bit boring. It just again didn't. Nothing stood out to me as wow. But again, I didn't venture out as much as I probably could have when we did try to. It was a bit boring and stuff. Um, in terms of other places, it's tough again to point your finger at one specific location that I
Yeah,
really disliked. I know I've mentioned to you about Malta. When I went Malta, it was a bit, it was a bit dead and boring, and the food was overpriced and the food was crap. But again, it could have been just the location we were staying at wasn't great.
yeah,
So Malta's always there when I mentioned trips that I didn't enjoy. You know what? Funnily enough, me growing up in an Asian household, you're sort of always sort of taught and told, oh, you got to be careful of these countries, racism, this pickpocketing, that,
yeah,
Muslim countries are safer. But ironically, of all the countries I think of, which I can point at negatively, you know me, I've gone to Morocco a ton of times. I've been to Egypt twice as well. But the ironic thing is, in those countries that I've visited, you get hassled a bit more. Yeah, I know the poverty line
mm,
is obviously a lot different compared to Western Europe, but just the experiences, like even in Egypt, the airport experience, long queues. It's just you land, or when you're trying to leave, all this bullshit that goes on with it. The delays, the queues, the little processes. You're like, fuck me, man, can't you just get this right? You got tons of tourists coming to your country. And then again, on the streets, I know there's a lot of poor people and stuff, but you're just getting hassled by touts and all sorts of people all the time. Oh, come here, come to my shop, or do you want this, do you want that? And you try saying no and being polite, and then they don't take no for a fucking answer, and then
yeah,
you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And little things like that can ruin experiences. It don't ruin the overall experience. Like I said, I've been to Marrakesh a shit ton of times, so there's a clear reason why I go back. It's cheap and it's cheerful, but I definitely point at those two countries as being negative. Berlin is probably there as well. Malta, I'd say, for me, along those lines.
Where'd you stay in Malta? Because I absolutely love Malta. I mean, I've been to all parts of it, but where
Yeah,
specifically?
I don't know the exact name of the city. Again, it wasn't memorable, so I don't remember it. But it was like the Airbnb we stayed at actually was really nice. The guys were really nice. The guy actually who owns Airbnb, he came and drove us with his convertible from the
Oh wow.
airport all the way to the property, which was like a good 40, 50-minute
Jesus.
drive. So it was a bit far away, but yeah, they were really nice and hospitable. We went in April during Easter, and the apartment was so fucking cold, and we're like, how is it so cold? And it was a bit wet here and there as well. And again, the
Yeah,
area we stayed in, hardly any shops nearby. So I would love to go back to Malta one day, purely just to not right the wrong, but get a better experience into my head from
yeah.
what I had back then. But it wasn't horrific, but it was just poor. That's the way
The
I'd put it.
food can be pretty diabolical. We stayed at a hotel
Yeah,
in 2010 because I went there as part of uni my
yeah,
second year. So the hotel we stayed at, the food was absolutely like dreadful. Like, it was so bad. You actually almost end up ordering food to the hotel room from outside.
yeah, yeah.
One or two of the nights we were there, but yeah, food's not their forte in certain parts of Malta, but yeah,
Again, I think you just got to be lucky with what you have around you, and a lot of holidays I've gone to, mate, I've reverted to fast food just because again there was either nothing nearby or there's just shit options nearby.
yeah.
So yeah, Tom, firstly, yeah, as Simon mentioned, have you been to Berlin? And yeah, you can go into your answer as well about what negative place have you been to.
Yeah, so Berlin, funny enough, back in the 2006 World Cup, my dad's his partner, so my stepmom is Italian, and her work partner is Italian, who she owned the cafe with, and then his brother-in-law, who was married to his sister, was French. So they had the idea of going over to Berlin for the World Cup final. So me, my dad, work partner, and yada yada yada, flew into Munich. Drove them from Munich to Berlin, a little bit of a road trip.
Oh, wow.
Whilst we were on the flight, my stepmom's work partner, or work colleague, whatever you want to call him, got talking to an Irish bloke, some random dude called Eugene or something like that.
Yeah.
And with a name like Eugene, you would think instant creep or instant weirdo or instant, well, why the hell is this guy on his own? So we drove from Munich to Berlin. Along the way, stopped off at some random hotel or motel right along the motorway. I remember that night very vividly. Like, they were all drinking away. I was 13 years old, so I couldn't drink. Got into Berlin, so I made it to like the fan zone area. Tried to get a ticket to go in to watch the game, and like, this is 2006. I do like the inflation now, but I think they were asking for like €2,000.
Oh,
To
fuck.
do the inflation rate now, what, like nearly 19 years later, you do the maths on that. Ended up watching a game at like some restaurant terrace place right around the corner from it, so you could see the stadium right in the backdrop. Partied the night away. Italy won. Dad lost his phone, stepped in a car, and paid it all the way back to Munich the next day. But mate, I was too young. So I don't remember it. I mean, I would have loved to have had a beer and all that jazz, obviously, nowadays, but I could barely remember it. But I've never really done Germany. That's the only German place that I've done. I've done that, and I've done Heidelberg for like a family Christmas break, and that was it. Germany, I've got no grief with. I'd love to do Munich. I'd love to do Dortmund. I'd love to do Hamburg. I'd love to do Berlin now, and obviously like do an actual proper trip out of it. So I've never had a downer from that kind of trip.
You know what, Tom? Before I get you to answer the question, I need to put in the fact that I have actually been to Germany one more time, and it was to go to Dusseldorf, actually. Now, you might remember Klitschko and Fury were fighting for the world title in Dusseldorf. So me and a couple of guys from work, we got tickets to go, and ironically, I think it was Klitschko got injured, so it got postponed for a month. Now, the new date, I was in fucking Egypt, so I couldn't go to the fight. But me and one of the guys from work, the other four guys, they dropped out and they got their money back. And so me and one other guy from work, we still went out to Dusseldorf on that weekend. That would have been the fight originally. And I got to say, Dusseldorf was really nice. Again, we were only there for 2 nights because we were only meant to be there like for the fight and stuff. But yeah, we went to it was like this market thingy. It was in November time. So yeah, we went to a couple of nice restaurants. It was quiet, obviously nothing compared to Berlin, but it was a very nice experience. I just wanted to add that in there compared to obviously what I had in Berlin. But yeah, and obviously I've been to Frankfurt when I've had layover flights. Transfer flights, I should say. And once my flight got delayed, so I missed the flight. So they stuck me up in the Sheraton at Frankfurt Airport, which was nice. But yeah, I only lost a couple of hours. I had a free flight the next day, so it was all right. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, in all honesty, Germany doesn't ever appeal to me as you think of Spain, Portugal, all these other lovely countries, but you don't really set out and go, oh yeah, I want to go to Germany. Do you know? Is that just me, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Germany, for like the German market, it's sort of like a stag do to go out on the piss. But other than that, don't know. Not too sure.
I think what kind of opened my eyes really right next to it is Salzburg. Salzburg was really good in Austria.
Yeah.
I've been skiing last year and then going again this year to go to Innsbruck, and then we're going up to Mayhofen. So that is unbelievable. I mean, in terms of scenery, and I think with Germany, there's some absolutely breathtaking parts of it where, it's in a similar ilk where it's almost like ski resort, and like kind of really nice mountains and nice hills and stuff, valleys. So I think that part of Germany would probably appeal to me a bit more.
Yeah.
Than just like the standard, like say, piss up or Oktoberfest, which I actually didn't go to. So yeah.
I keep on forgetting. I know it sounds weird, but the north of Germany has like an actual coast. So the north of Germany has
Yeah.
an actual beach resort kind of place. And like when you think of Germany, you think of forest, you think of major cities. You don't think of like coastline. I know it sounds really stupid, but I just
It's
get
probably
pissed.
bloody cold, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's really
Absolutely
freezing.
freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you got Sweden right next door. Is Sweden right next to it? Right across the
Denmark, isn't it?
Denmark. That's the one.
Yeah.
There's an Nordic country.
Yeah, Tom, I will let you. I know I've held you off. So yeah, some of the worst places you visited or negative places, please.
So I don't know how Simon's going to react to it when I say it, because he's probably had a bit more positive experience. But I think from a British cultural rule Britannia, God save the Queen point of view, Paris, I despise it. I despise the
I
place.
fucking forgot about Paris.
Oh mate,
Shithole, mate. Absolute shithole.
I've been there like 2 or 3 times for work, and when I've been there those 2 or 3 times, I've had someone from the UK with me, because it's been like an IT project that we're doing out there when we were working at SH, like whether it be like the Ring Central phone rollout, which is like we were up until like 5 o'clock in the morning doing the rollout of phones, or because of like the delivery issues, or fucking we were doing like a Windows 10 rollout, and like it's just when Pete Tong and other guys who were working over there, IT bods, who fucking shower wankers, or whatever the case is. But like food out there, it's just your typical fucking steak or pasta. Like there's no culture to the food. I feel everyone's moody. I know that I'm a moody, mardy person myself, but everyone's more mardy and moody than me. It kind of just makes it don't sound great. It's too busy. The streets all look the bloody same. Everything's too bloody expensive. The only nice thing about the city, maybe two things. There was the Frog Bar right across the road
Belter.
from absolute belter, from right across the office where we worked, right across from the hotel where we worked. Because our life was literally that one little street where you had the office, you had the pub right across the road, and then you had the hotel. And that was like, what, about 100 metres, 150 metres? That was our life most nights. The other nice thing about the city is the river. The river's pretty decent. You've got a decent walkway along it. You've got some nice little bars, some nice little pubs, some nice little this, that, and third. Those 2 things are the only decent thing about it. Coming into the train station, when you come into Paris, Gare du Nord, shithole. Walking from the train station down to the hotel, shithole. Everything, like the whole, like traffic is shit, driving is shit, everything is a shit. Oh mate, I fucking hate Paris. I
I
hate
used to
Paris.
walk it. I used to walk it to the hotel from that Gardenor.
I did it as well. Like you walk down like the hill, don't you? It's like a kind of
Yeah.
hilly road, right?
Second time I went, I couldn't be asked. But yeah, the first time it took me about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I was like, I'm regretting doing this now. But the funny thing was, it meant I got into the office a bit later. So, you know, you obviously check in at a hotel,
Yeah, exactly.
straight to work. It's a bit of a weird feeling, isn't it, really? But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's just so. Oh, it's just horrendous. It's just grey. I know that London is grey, but London's not as grey as that place.
Mate,
I mean,
London's a
geez.
shithole as well. Let's be honest. Come on.
London's a shithole, but I
Depends where
love
you go,
London.
isn't it?
I can't.
It's yeah, but a lot of it is, and it's just like it's too many bloody people, and
Yes.
you know, we can start going off on a rant on the London in a minute.
What do you think of Paris, Simon? I know that you've been here a few times.
I've got good memories of it, and I think with me, I don't want to spoil it. I definitely will be going again because I want to do Roland Garros with the tennis.
Oh yeah. Good
Because I'll
shout.
do 3 out of the 4, and then the last one. Well, sorry, I'll complete the collection. I would have done all 4 majors, but yeah, I think in terms of my experience of working there, I thought the people in the office like generally really good to me. Yeah, it's like some people in like the restaurants that a bit rude and that, but I didn't really sort of go out to places enough to really experience that. People at the hotel were fine, and I actually quite enjoyed it. There's that Gardens place. It's called Jardin Tuileries, which is like right next to the what do you call it? The Louvre, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So I liked that, and I think in general my experience was good. I think if I was to be there a bit longer, I might start to come around to your way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's where I stayed up, I quite like the spot, and I think, like you say, the Frog, that pub was great because some of the staff are English as well, which helps. There's like some girl that was, she must be like early 20s, and I was like 31 at the time, and yeah, she was working and got chatting to me. And sometimes you just sit at the bar and then you just get chatting to the staff, whatever. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a decent place. That was the good thing about the place. Even if it was busy, there was always a seat up for you at the bar, even to have like a little bit of dinner. They'd always save a seat for you because they knew that you were floating about.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you try and find one spot. I think it's like a lot of places, isn't it? Really, you try and find one spot that ain't going to spoil the trip, and I think that was like the go-to in terms of that.
100%. Yeah, there was like a few bars around that kind of area. I knew that there was like that wine bar right across the road.
I went there. Yeah,
I knew that you went there, didn't you?
Late night, yeah, until like 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, with Mr. Hanley.
Mr. Hanley, yeah,
Hanley
the Irishman.
and then Mr. Hanley and the is it trainee as well, the Dutch girl, Leonie.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
So that was good, but I don't know anything about wine. I'm not exactly a wine connoisseur. Maybe if I was a wine connoisseur, I'd like Paris a bit more because France in general, I've had mostly good memories when I was younger. But yeah.
Question for you, Mitch. I know obviously you've travelled about the place and like you've been here, there, and everywhere. Your experience of being in Ukraine prior to the war and and when it was all starting to kick off and then during the war itself, what's your experience of that?
I will go on to that, but I want to mention something quickly about Paris. I know I said it's a shithole, but I did have one really good memory of it. Now I did go Paris twice. Once was like just a day trip. We sort of flew out and flew back in the same day. It was just to go and visit, the touristy attraction and all that shit. The second time I went was with my missus. And although, again, we went to a lot of the touristy places and stuff. It was all right second time around, but again, loads of hassle, loads of people. It was just a bit a bit dirty in places, as you expect. And we went to one restaurant. Now, there was a barmaid who used to work when I was at Denton's, who was a Chelsea fan. So one of the guys at work sort of mentioned, because I was trying to obviously get rid of tickets and stuff. I used to get them when I used to have the membership, where I used to go a lot to the games and stuff. So this would be the odd time where I didn't have anyone to go with. So he got me in touch with her, and then she started going to a few of the games with me, and also like she'd take some of the tickets off me as well. I remember actually one of my birthdays, I know I mentioned this to you definitely, Simon, because you're good with dates, where we played an Israeli team. I think it was, we won 4-0. It was on my birthday. It was on the 16th of September, and she actually came and brought one of her mates, she was actually another barmaid as well, so I knew both of them, and we went on my birthday to watch the footy, I think it was Champions League. And then on another occasion, like again, she would obviously come with me. Now she's French, so proper French, obviously speaking, heavy accent, French speaking. And so when I went to Paris with my missus, I told her that obviously I'm coming out, and she was there at the time. So she took us to this restaurant. I still remember the name. It was called Mollard. I don't know where exactly in Paris it is. We just jumped on the train and she told us come to the station. She told us the definition of the word mollard sort of meant like fucking spit or phlegm or something, which was a bit weird for a name for a fucking restaurant. But it looked really posh inside. Like, it was a really posh restaurant, but at the same time there was hardly anyone in there. You saw some tourists going in there with fucking shorts and stuff, and I was like, fair enough, it clearly ain't that posh. It was an expensive menu, but I kid you not, that food was fucking lovely. Like, and I think just the meal in general, it was me, obviously my missus and my mate, and obviously she knew she knew a lot about the food, so obviously she was asking us, what do you fancy? Try this, try that. So it was the first time I ate snails and stuff. We had all this other stuff. It was really fancy shit. It was really expensive as well, but that meal was so nice. Just three of us obviously sitting there chatting away and enjoying that meal. So that, I've got to say, is a very positive experience of Paris. So I just wanted to put that out there. Oh, and another one I forgot to mention in terms of best places I've visited, not necessarily for the city, but Tom, you know about this one. Obviously, when I went to Mumbai, I can't forget Mumbai. Mumbai was obviously, as you know, my first work trip after so many years of trying to go abroad for work. Mumbai was my first one. it was just the fact from start to finish, you know, although I paid for all, you know, the initial part out of my own credit card and stuff, which was great for me because I got loads of fucking cashback and points and stuff, and work sort of reimbursed me the following week basically. So I got loads of freebies with that as well. The hotel was fucking pucker 5-star. You know, it was basically living in luxury for 9 days or 10 days, which however many days we were there. Every day going down to the lobby, getting free breakfast, obviously free dinner we had to pay for, but it was free obviously because we were on holiday. Well, holiday, I say holiday. We were obviously there for work, but it felt like a holiday. So everything was just, again, it was amazing. All the experience with Mumbai, even though the work side of it we did was great because everything went to plan. So you know, that will always hold a special place in my heart because of how positive it was. And in all honesty, as you know, Tom, Bremen was a bit of a shit show a lot of the times, and Mumbai was definitely my favorite 2-week period of all my time at Bremen, the 18 months I was there. So can't forget
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, yeah, you say that. I mean, for me, like, I'm not as luxurious as going up to Mumbai, but I went up to Aberdeen. Like that was my word trip, and that
Yeah.
was like what 6 users or whatever. And I was there on my lonesome and just like giving them new kit and so on and so forth. But everyone was so nice up there. Like they were
Yeah.
treating me to dinners and they were taking me on nights out and so making sure that I was good as gold. So that was the positive that I got out of Braemar as well. But that company was a shithole. Other than
Yeah,
that.
Braemar University was a shithole, but you know, there was again loads of nice people we met there. You know, some good experiences. Everywhere you go, you get good experiences. But yeah, obviously, yeah, Mumbai will always like have a special place in my heart because of that experience. Now, before I move on and talk about Ukraine, have any of you like, actually gone to any of those South Asian countries or anything?
No, you meant to, weren't you, Tom? You meant to go to Sri Lanka back in 2019.
Yeah, meant to go back there in Sri Lanka. Yeah, meant to go to Sri Lanka for like a white glove kind of holiday, and the terrorist attack happened. So then that kind of the brakes got pumped on that. So we ended up going to Barbados instead. But I've done Kuala Lumpur, so Malaysia, did Borneo, and did fucking Indonesia. That was like a kind of like
Oh,
a
nice.
backpacking kind of holiday that we did. So we did Borneo first for what, like 2 or 3 nights. Climbed a mountain there because we were really, me and Mags were really into our mountain climbing back then. That was nice. Did Kuala Lumpur for like 2 nights, and then did this other place. I can't remember where the fuck. I think it was Indonesia. Did that for like 5 nights, and that was like white glove service. Everything, like the beers there cost like £1 or even cheaper, and they were big old beers, and the food was brilliant, and all the excursions were quality. I absolutely loved it, but it's weird having that white glove service. Like, I don't like to be treated like a king, you know, by the locals. It just sounds weird. It feels weird, you know. One of those.
Mate, you gotta enjoy it every now and again because it doesn't happen every day. That's what I gotta say to you.
I know, but at the same time, like when we went to Barbados in the end, it was a sandals holiday. So sandals holidays, you automatically think fucking luxury, and it was. And because it was a last minute thing that we bought like the 5-star quality servant service. So when we actually turned up, they said these are going to be your butlers for the holidays. They introduced us to 2 chaps. One was called Jerome, and the other one was called Michael. And then at the same time as saying these are your butlers. Here is a mobile phone that you can use for any service that you want. If you want any drinks brought up to your hotel, give them a call. If you want like a reservation done at like a restaurant on the resort, give them a call. If you want an excursion to be dealt with, to be sorted out, or whatever, give them a call. And we were like, what the fuck? It was like, you never get given a phone by a hotel and say, give us a call if you want anything. So
If
the
you want to
amount,
get wanked off, give us a call.
basically, it's so weird. It was so odd. Like the actual butlers called up our phones, called up that phone instead to make sure that phone was turned on. To basically
Bloody hell.
say, are you guys all right? Do you guys need anything at all? And
Mm.
we were like, no, we're fine. I mean, there's God knows how many bars around here. We can sort ourselves out for a drink, but we like appreciate the phone call, but fuck
Yeah.
off. It's so weird. Anyway, please.
Yeah, so Ukraine. Yeah, obviously, my first time going there was 2016. So this was, what was it, like 2 years after obviously the initial bastards annexed obviously a bit of the territory. But I was none the wiser of it. I was like, obviously didn't really follow it much and didn't know much about it. When I actually like told a few people from work that I was going, shout out to Steve Beckett, who I'm sure will listen to this lovely podcast because I've spam him with it every week. So he was like one of the people I remember telling me, he used to do that business continuity at Denton. So obviously he used to look after a lot of the, the background stuff and the offices in general, safety and all that stuff. So he was telling me, "Oh, Mojo, you sure you want to go out there? The war's going on. It's a bit dodgy. I was like, nah, mate, it'll be fine. At that time in my life, 2016, I was just like, I couldn't give a fuck. I'll just do whatever I want, and sort of travel. I just wanted to travel and travel. The more the merrier, basically. So obviously Ukraine came about. I went out there. Yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener. Obviously, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the only brown person, no one else about, sort of thing. So obviously, my missus picked me up from the airport. Obviously, I wasn't going out with her at this time. She picked me up from the airport and she spent the next couple of days with me. It was just, again, an eye opener. There's loads of people like in army gear as well, walking the streets here and there, although there was nothing aggressive going on at the time. It was just, I don't even have a word to describe it, but it is literally like a new world out there. Like, you see the architecture, you see how people are in general, like the lack of English. Like there's like I know a more the younger crowd that speak a little bit of English in this day and age, but yeah, I mean it was just like if I was on my own there, just as a tourist, yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I'll probably get by with Google Translate, but it would be tough. But yeah, just in general, obviously going there for many years, and I moved out there, as you know, in 2021. With both the kids and with my missus. So that again was a nice experience because we were living in London at the time in extortionate rent. We were just not happy. My job was a bit shitty as well, so we wanted to go abroad. And obviously life for her will be easier over there. So we did end up moving out. Rent went down to about 300 quid a week. Sorry, a month, I should say, 300 quid a month. We were able to, hire a nanny. Oh, by the way, talking of nanny, it's the first time, like in my life, I'd say I employed someone. You know what I mean? Like I gave her like a wage. I don't think about it like that much, but on that note, actually, fun enough, like we used to pay her 500 grivnas, which is like £1 is equal to, back then it was about 35. Now it's obviously rocketed up because of the war, so it's about 45, maybe even touching 50. I don't know. So we used to pay her like 500 grivnas per day to look after my son mainly. And then obviously when we went back after the war and stuff, when she came back to look after him, I think we were giving her like 100 an hour, which is still cheap as chips when you compare it to, if I'm having a nanny here somewhere, it's fucking de la robbery, you know what I mean? So so I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, we're sort of underpaying her. We should probably give her a little bit more. So I gave her a pay rise, when I was living there last year. So we took it up from 100 to about 130. My wife at the time was like, "Are you sure you want to give extra money? We could use that money because don't forget, I wasn't working at the time, so every little penny would have helped." But I was like, "Nah, it's fine. She's been really good to us for the last couple of years, and I've sort of put myself in her shoes. If I'm working in a place and I've been really good and really loyal, I'd expect a pay rise as well. All that shit." So I was like, "Screw it. I'm gonna give her an extra." What is it, like 50p a day? It's not, it's, or 50p an hour, it's nothing. That's the way I was looking at it. So yeah, obviously it was nice having a nanny and stuff. Obviously the in-laws are there as well, so it was much easier, and they're a lot younger as well compared to what my mom is, so yeah, they could obviously do a lot more.
I was going to say, it sounds like May just gets you a lot further out there.
100%, mate. Like 100%. Obviously, the produce back then, obviously with the war, it got a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Produce was so much cheaper. Rent was cheap. We even were giving them to private school, private kindergarten, and we pay for that, but it was still a lot cheaper. It was like £100 a month or something. It really, compared to London, like I'm sure I told you this, especially Tom. Obviously, when I was at Braemar, I was saving up to go back to live there. I was sort of given the figure of about I could live off about £1,000 a month, all in all. So that just sums it up. I mean, fucking rent in London, you can pay up to upwards of £2,000 just for one property.
Yeah.
Whereas in
One bedroom.
exactly, whereas back in Ukraine, I can pay £1,000 for everything: a roof over my head, food, private nanny, private schools, and everything. So, yeah, there was the benefits were that, and also I gotta say, obviously being again Asian and being in Ukraine, obviously within the neighborhood, we were living in a village area where there's no brown people in sight, like one or two colored people, but you are literally the odd one out. But at the same time, because of the mannerisms and the way they live their life out there, it is literally, they mind their own business, they get on with life there. Yeah, you might get a few looks initially and you might notice it, but it literally is, a bit of like, oh, where are they from? Oh, I've not seen someone like that before. It is just a bit of amazement. But after my first couple of trips I went there, I just stopped. Like, I didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? And
So when you mean like a villagey, like when you think of like places outside of the UK, weirdly you just think of like cities and towns and so on and so forth. But when you mean villagey, like do you
so
mean
yeah,
like
the
properly?
actual yeah no the actual location, it's not really a village in terms of your definition of a village, or what it might be. Like the actual city's name, Krukovshchina, it is listed as a village. It is a village area. There's still shops, there's still high-rise buildings here and there, but it's not city. It's not inner city. Like there's no tubes inside. There is a train. You got to walk a little bit to get there, but it's it's described as a village. Although again, the definition of a village to me and you might be a lot different to what this might be. But it was outside of Kiev, obviously. It was Kiev region, so yeah, it wasn't part of the main city. It was like a 40-30 minute drive to get there. But it was the place we lived at. It was very like family orientated. Loads of kids, loads of families and stuff. So it was good. It was nice, obviously, living that lifestyle of just when I left Braemar, just going back there to live again, waking up in the morning, dropping the kids off to school and literally doing fuck all for the rest of the day, just chilling. And another good thing about living out there was obviously my missus would run most of the day-to-day shit, the important stuff, basically paying the bills, doing this and that, going and getting the shopping, and I could just sit back and chill, and basically it's my money running the show. You know what I mean? So life was so much easier. Whereas obviously living in London back here again, it's a lot more stressful because you're worried about more stuff. Am I gonna have enough money to do this, or can I pay for that, or just the general bullshit. I need to look after everything. So there was loads of pros to living out there. Obviously, if the fucking war hadn't started, then who knows, if I would have had even come back here, but this is back in 2022 when I did come back. But it's hard to say, but I still would love to, as you both know, I've love an early retirement. When it comes to work, me and work don't get along as well. So I would love to go back out there in my 50s and just get a cheap property by the sea, and just see out my last years of life, basically just chilling and doing fuck all. That's the dream.
By early retirement, you mean 38, yeah?
Well, if only that was fucking possible. I've always said to myself, it would be lovely not to be able to work past 50, mid 50s. I know that's going to be unrealistic if I'm living in London. So the only way that will be possible is if I'm obviously, living abroad. So, I've got to wait for the kids to grow up as well, see what they make of their lives, and see what situation they are in, and if they're both sort of comfortable and able to look after each other and going off in the on their own paths, then I might revisit the idea of moving somewhere again, foreign. As you both know, as I've said already on this chat, London is a shithole, and I can't stand it. I'm only here to get paid in the city. That is the only reason I'm still here. Yeah, of course I got
and enjoy our company as well, of course.
Yeah, but yeah,
it was that debatable.
that comes, naturally, mate.
Comes at a cost.
But yeah, obviously I've got friends and family here, and even when I was out in Ukraine, as you guys saw, I still stayed in touch with you lot, and even when I did pop back to visit every now and again, again, we still caught up and stuff. So that, you know, that's not a big issue. I'll still obviously travel back and forth, but I think it's just in general, you know, how London is. You know, I don't want to go talk too negative, but it's just not my ideal location to be living, and you know, it's just not a happy place. I'm here now, obviously, because of the kids, as you both know. If it wasn't for that, if I didn't have kids, if I wasn't married, then I probably would be living somewhere completely remote, just, you know, in peace and quiet, just doing fuck all, basically. That's the dream. I don't know what it was that sort of flipped the switch. Maybe having two kids is what flipped the switch as to me becoming a lazy fucker. But yeah, there are some, you know, sometimes at work, obviously, like when I was at Bremen, we did have a good laugh. Me and Tom, we had a really good laugh. You know, those days, you know, you have a good time. They do help, and obviously pass the time. But just in general, yeah, I would love to go back to Ukraine and live there again. If it's going to be possible sometime down the line. But and
Yeah.
again, take you out there as well. It's a different
Yeah.
world out there.
I'd love to get out there. Yeah.
So once obviously the war fucks off, unless you want to, I know Tom did obviously mention traveling. So obviously right now, because of the war, you got to travel to Poland via plane,
Yeah.
and then you got to take an overnight train, or I've taken a bus sometimes, a coach sometimes as well. So that's a pain in the arse, as you can imagine. Although it's
I've
nice
got
first or second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice first or second time because it's a new experience. So I'm taking an overnight train, you know, but it wears off, mate. It gets boring.
I got a train from Warsaw to Krakow, and we were literally standing in the corridor for the whole of it.
Oh yeah,
about
no,
3
fuck
hours.
that. I couldn't do that, mate. Yeah,
It was right in the slap bang in the middle of winter, just after Christmas, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing cold, getting blasted by the cold air.
oh yeah, yeah.
But would you say there's any similarities between Poland and Ukraine? I know obviously they're
Very
neighbours.
similar. No, very similar, mate. Again, if you look at some of the architecture and stuff in general, obviously the Polish border with Ukraine, you know, the language, the actual Ukrainian dialect and Polish is quite similar. A lot of the words and stuff, you know. You get a lot of people in the west of Ukraine, like Lviv areas and stuff, that speak heavily and only Ukrainian, whereas more
Yeah.
towards the right, obviously with the border with the bastards, they understand obviously both and they speak both.
Yeah.
Some people in the south don't even speak Ukrainian, but you got to remember Ukraine obviously came about 1991 obviously, and a lot more of the kids obviously and the younger generation, like I'll say 40 and below, they're fluent and they'll speak Ukrainian. A lot more of the older generation, they obviously have grown up speaking obviously that bastard language, and they will carry on speaking that language. And then they'll bother to learn it, obviously, or learn Ukraine, obviously. So yeah, that's the difference. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, a lot of those Eastern European countries, obviously, I've been to Belarus as well, which was a really lovely location, and again, so similar to Ukraine. If you literally just plonk me in Belarus and told me where are you, I'll probably still think I'm in Ukraine. So that was really nice going there as well.
That's a bit of like an eye opener because Belarus is very pro-Russian, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, you got to remember they've also got a bastard dictator running the show at the helm as well, similar to the other bastard country. I don't even like saying the country's name. As,
Yeah, I know you don't. Yeah,
I just refer to them as the bastards. So yeah, but they've had a lot of politics and stuff and protests and stuff, but which all gets diminished down. But again, Belarus is another country I'd love to go back to. My missus has a mate there, like a childhood friend who she grew up with, who lives in Belarus, and they're very welcoming to us as well. So I would love to go back there again. I've banged on about Ukraine too much, so I'll go on to our last question before the podcast comes to an end because I've got 10-minute warning. Places that we would like to visit, something I want to discuss. I will kick it off with Simon first. So yeah, any places that on your bucket list or you'd really love to visit and why?
Yeah, well, I actually mentioned one earlier, which was on Tom's behalf because Sri Lanka. I think at some point because I've just seen like the temples and stuff there and the general scenery. I always think of the Save a Prayer song by Duran Duran and the whole video. They show the beaches, they show like the temples, all the Buddhists there and stuff, and the monks. So I'd like to get there at some point. And if it's not Sri Lanka, I'd probably say Canada. I know it's again talking of cold. It's it depends what time of year you go and where you go to. But I think definitely, again, like the Rockies, the scenery, all that sort of stuff. Love all that, because I've done things like whitewater rafting in Croatia, and also I've done skiing as well. So I think possibly a country like Canada would be good in terms of fulfilling that bucket list. And I think obviously the amount of space you've got, and then yeah, just like the general sort of vibes of it. Because I've been to America quite a few times now, as you guys know, and I've always been fascinated by Canada.
Mate, Sri Lanka, November. Let's make it happen.
Well, yeah, at some point, definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely be up for that. But yeah, what about you guys?
I think Tom's ran off to get his doorbell. I'm curious who's knocking at his door at this time of the evening.
Yeah.
I'll go next because obviously he ran off. I think a lot of these Asian countries I would love to visit. Again, like Tom mentioned, Indonesia, Malaysia, stuff like that. Somewhere along that route. Like Thailand. To be honest, I see loads of vlogs on YouTube and stuff of people going Pakistan and stuff. A country that you wouldn't necessarily deem a tourist attraction or anything because it's dangerous and all this shit. But I would love to go there just to experience it, the food, and just in general go somewhere down far, or obviously towards that area. New Zealand, Australia, stuff like that will be amazing one day to hopefully hit. But obviously with that you need at least a week or two, and you need obviously a bit of money as well. But yeah, even the likes of Sri Lanka and stuff, yeah, I would love to go there. Also, like a bit more. I'm not really that fussed about America, if I'm honest. Canada would probably be nice as well. I'm trying to think. Like, there's not really. I've been to a lot of places in Europe. Say that again.
Australia.
Yeah, Australia, as I mentioned, New Zealand, Australia would be nice to at least check out one day. Hopefully, go down there. Like you managed to do the Australian Open. It's something that I would very much love to do myself as well. So it might be good to go down there again around January time. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Obviously, there's some of these countries, the Arab countries. I don't know if they are deemed Arab actually like Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, stuff like that. Where I think, I don't know if it's Kuwait or Jordan. Obviously, I was speaking to Jack a little bit about Kuwait. I would love to go there as well. But just in general, somewhere new, somewhere far. I'm getting a bit sick of going to Europe and the cheaper destinations. I would love to go somewhere where I can splash a bit of cash and just enjoy a bit more luxury.
I've just looking at the globe now. Brazil, got to be Brazil at some point.
Oh yeah, South America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I've heard stuff. Like it's a bit dangerous and stuff. I think if I was to go somewhere like that, I would love to go with someone who's a local or someone who, could show me around. You know what I mean? So I don't get into any trouble or have any shit happening.
I think Santa Catarina is meant to be pretty good in terms of like. Because I was seeing a goal last year that was from Santa Catarina, but yeah, that's meant to be pretty good. I just think like Sao Paulo, Rio as well, Rio de Janeiro. But again, like just things like, to me, the scenery like Sugarloaf Mountain. I think Tom is back, isn't he?
Tom, who the fuck was at your door, mate? Fucking hell.
Mate, I had Tesco come at the perfect time.
Fucking Tesco at this time of night? What the hell, on a Sunday?
Yeah, we've had a busy old day, so it's time that we can actually get Tesco to come. Sorry.
Yeah, so we were asking, obviously, some place that you'd like to go. What's on your bucket list? Somewhere that interests you. What would you say?
I'd love to do New York. Haven't done New York. I know Simon's done that pretty damn recently. Love to do LA just to kind of get a feel as to like chalk and cheese in New York and LA, because I know they're completely different places but in the same country. I'd love to do Madrid. I'd like to do Munich. I'd like to do Australia. On that as well, a random place, but I like to do Iceland, like Reykjavik. I'd love to do that and see what that's all about. I know it's just some random places, but just to kind of see how the other places live, nice. What about you? What about you, Mudgy? Have you said already?
Wait, me and McSweeney already went into. I was mentioning a lot of the Arab countries, Asian countries. I from afar, far and wide. Different cultures. I love food in general. So yeah, different cultures, just experience. Different atmosphere. I guess that's what's key for me.
Should we put a shout out to Casa Pepe's? You like the
Casa
food there, didn't
Pepe's. That was Gibraltar was quite nice. Yeah.
you?
So
The hockey puck calamari.
the rubberized calamari, which even the pigeon didn't like, which I threw on the floor. And I was getting absolutely annihilated by mosquitoes as well. And I got the worst fucking paella you can ever think of. It was basically soup. It wasn't even a proper paella. So I would love to go back to Gibraltar, but definitely not to fucking Casa Pepe. That was dog shit.
Not saying my swordfish was pretty damn good, but I think that's probably where it ends, where my confidence ends about that place.
No, I know you and Tom. I can't remember what you ate. Did you share the paella with me, or did you have your own dish?
I had the calamari. I'm pretty sure the calamari. Then I shared the paella with you a little bit.
So yeah, I don't think you were as critical, but me, I fucking love it. It is probably my favorite dish, paella. So when they served me that fucking wank, I was like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So yeah, no. Again, I would love to go back to Spain, or Portugal, or those areas, just to have a proper snapper paella. So one for the list, but yeah, we'll see how it happens. Obviously, with my new job, they've got a few offices here and there. If I do get the opportunity to go abroad, I'll definitely snap up those opportunities if I can. But yeah, traveling. Yeah, look, I'm not sure if I've said this to you both physically, but if I had to choose my dream job, I love traveling. I always have. Even as soon as I managed to afford it, I was traveling as much as I could. My dream job probably would have been something that involved traveling. Even doing fucking vlogs, I see these people doing on YouTube in this day and age, and I'm like, fuck me, why didn't I do that? If I had the opportunity to rewind time and knew you can actually make a career out of it, and become popular, I probably would have gone down that route. Obviously, it's a bit too late now with wife and 2 kids to worry about, but yeah, it's definitely one of my go-tos, just to escape reality, basically, and go away on holiday.
No, good shout. Never too late, mate. Never too late.
Well, yeah, they say that. Let's see. Maybe when I hit 50. Maybe when I hit 50.
I had a fortune cookie at work recently, and it said better late than never, wasn't it? So
there you go. Better late than never.
That's the Chinese New Year message.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're coming up to the end now. I've got about 30 seconds left. So yeah, thank you first of all, McSweeney, as always, and Tomothy. Thank you for your contributions this week, and yeah, hopefully. Going forward, we'll obviously do this again, and the podcast will continue for many a week. And just make sure you don't get fucking Tesco coming to your door next time, will you?
Mate, it's the only time I could do it. Shut your face.
All right, podcast.
All right, guys. Cool. Appreciate it. Have a good one, and yeah, I'll speak to you all next Sunday.
Right,
cool.
Nice.
Cheers. Have a good one. Bye.